Hey, what's up, guys? Ronin Man here, early in the morning. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and share my videos. I really appreciate it. One thing I want to say is a lot of people send me some really freaking awesome emails and explain their situation and ask questions. And I would really appreciate it if you would put those in comments below videos, because that way a lot of the questions are, a lot of people are interested in the same thing. So it's nice if everybody can kind of share, other people can see your question and they can see the answer. I go out of my way to answer a lot of questions that I feel like is possible to answer by text or in the comment box. So I do go out of my way to check comments. If I don't see one, maybe comment in another video over time. I do my best to see them, but due to the algorithm, some of them don't show up. So that's possible. Also, if I don't know what to say, sometimes I'm thinking about a comment, and then when it makes sense to me, I'll comment. Or if I'm not sure, I don't like to. Although my videos are long, I don't like to fill the air. I like to wait until I know something or I have something to say or I have I have a perspective before I go ahead and comment. So today I want to talk about something that has really confused me when I was younger. And it's in some relationships, okay? And now I've kind of nailed this down to basically immature people who are not good communicators is really what the type of person. But these things you don't know when you meet somebody. It's impossible to know, right? And it's only over time, and it's only with when you have something difficult to talk about, right? And that's not in the beginning of the relationship, right? It's later on. You start to realize, wait, this person is not able to communicate. And one of my personal pet peeves, is the idea that women are great communicators. There's this kind of concept in society that women are just great communicators, and I think most people believe that. I don't believe that. I've never found that to be true in my life. I mean, there are great women who are great communicators, and I think women do have an ability to kind of keep track of several people at once. I think that came from evolution, having 6 kids in the cave, there was a capacity to listen to several people at once and kind of figure out where everybody's at. I think that impresses me, actually. But as far as just pure communication when there is a problem, I haven't found women to be any better than men. And that's just my experience. And but this is compounded when you have somebody who is emotionally immature, or or even worse, somebody who has a personality disorder, or displays some of the characteristics of a personality disorder. Any of those things, no need to label anybody, but any of those characteristics, they can be pretty toxic. And what happens is, what I found, and I don't know if you guys have ever found this. Have you ever found a relationship where, you meet somebody, and so let's just say this is you, and you're happy, you have a good life, and then along comes a sweetheart, right? Some girl, and you're stoked, right? And you're like, yeah, baby, and she's like, ooh, yeah, and you guys have a good time, and you guys get together. Then what happens over time? So evolution has created a situation where humans bond. Sex is one of the biggest causes, and the reason is release of chemicals. Chemicals run our lives, and when you're young, you have a lot of testosterone. As that testosterone decreases, your personality changes. I can tell you for a fact, my personality has really changed since my testosterone level came down probably in my late 40s and early 50s, and I love it, actually. I'm super happy. So if you guys are younger and you're worried, oh my gosh, my testosterone's going to go down, there are cycles in life, and I think it's important to you want to stay healthy and young, definitely. But at the same time, you want to accept your body, your feelings, and things, what's going on with you. And chemicals are one of those things. So when you meet a girl and when she meets you, there is a bond, there is a attraction. The sex itself releases very strong chemicals that bind you to the other person and kind of cause you to, you just feel close to them. You know what I'm talking about. It's just that there's no reason, there's no logic. It's just, you just feel so good and you feel so close. So this is an early relationship. Then as things happen, as I should say, as time passes, it's natural for that to decrease. So they say it's 9 months. Like people that study these things say it's 9 months. So let's just say it's 9 months, and it might be a lot shorter, might be a lot longer, but let's just say 9 months. I found it to be shorter myself, but let's just say, okay, so things are great. Now after 9 months, you start to realize that it sounds weird, but it's like you start to realize that you've become very close to this person. So you and her are now sharing everything. And it's kind of like you start to realize that you don't know them that well as you thought. And that's kind of weird. You're like, wow, we're so close, but I don't even know this about her. Or you might think, she doesn't know this about me. She's never asked me this, whatever it is. And you start to realize, or it could be just simple disagreements about things, right? So either way, normal conflict, very normal. Now, okay, so you have some conflict. Now, and let's just do this, and this is from a guy's perspective, this video. So very common is, I've found in early relationships, is girls to be unhappy with the relationship. I found that girls tend to have complaints first about a relationship. I don't know, it's not a rule, just has been my experience. I tend to be a pretty happy guy, just kind of cruising through, and things are, I don't know why, but I found girls often, they bring up things, right? So let's say now she is not so happy, okay? Now she's not, terribly unhappy, but she's just not as happy as before. Now, a mature woman, a mature person would communicate with you and say, hey, I feel uncomfortable with this, and this kind of bothers me, and like in a mature way, basically like explain how she feels, what she thinks happened, and just to communicate basically as honestly as possible, and early in the relationship, before it gets too bad, right? Just kind of like she realizes something's not right in her mind, she's not happy, and then she has every right. That's fine. That's totally normal. So she feels unhappy. So now, but the problem is with an immature woman, okay, what happens is they don't really communicate with you in the same way that you think they would. They basically decide that they need to talk to somebody, and they wait till it gets too bad. Okay, they don't have the ability to communicate their feelings. So what do? They bring in a friend. Okay, so this is let's say this is Ed, and this is Judy, Ed and Judy's relationship. Now we got Jane in here, and so what this is called emotional triangles. Okay, so is we have Jane is unhappy in the relationship. So what she's going to do is she's unhappy in the relationship. So she can't communicate her feelings. She can't discuss things rationally with him. So she lets it build up. So now she's very frustrated. So she brings in her friend. Now her friend's job is just to listen to her difficulties and complaints and this and that. Now, until now, this has been a friend, and basically until now, everybody's happy. Okay, everybody's happy. Like everybody's friends, everybody hangs out, there's barbecues, there's no problem, right? Now, as soon as she's unhappy, right, then since she can't communicate, she's not capable in this case, she's going to talk to her friend. She's going to tell her friend this and this and this about the guy, about you. And what you will notice is that the relationship between her and her friend will become stronger. So imagine a strong bond forming here, because now she's communicating her feelings. She's not doing it to the person in the relationship, but she is communicating her feelings, and so she feels better. And also her friend feels good because she trusted her, she shared with her. So now we have this stronger bond here, but we have big problems between the two. And the reason is because now what's happened is the relationship is kind of frozen. between these two, because she's now sharing, she's becoming more intimate with her and less intimate with him. And then also what happens in these triangles is that until now she's been very friendly with you, right? But this changes, because now she really can't be friendly with you for a couple of reasons. One is the thing she's hearing, so the stories she's hearing. She's hearing bad things about you, and she thought, well, this guy was a good guy. I thought this guy was a good guy, but now I'm hearing all these bad things. And also, she wants to show sympathy for her friend. So let's say that they go and talk, they do their meeting, and then afterwards they come to the house and you're there. Until now, she's been very friendly to you, and you can see that your girlfriend's in a better mood. So you're kind of expecting, like, hey, good things are going to happen today, right? But no, not at all. All of a sudden, there's kind of between you and her, you're her friend. All of a sudden, there's kind of bad feelings, and you're like, what's going on? And you don't. It's like, what the hell is going on here, right? And so the bond that is, okay, here's what happens. The problem is now, because she was incapable of communicating and dealing with the problem herself, she brought in another person. Now, this other person now has a set in stone idea of the problem, right? This person here does not have the ability to fix the problem. So, like, let's say that there was a misunderstanding about something. Okay, so she misunderstood something, right? But this person here now has heard about the misunderstanding, but she doesn't have the ability to ask you, because it's not her relationship. So she can't say, like, to you, why did you do this? And then the guy would say, like, let's just say, for example, that the communication that should happen here happens between the two friends. So she says, why did you you do this one thing, and then he says, oh, well, I did it because of this. And then she's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. And then she tells her, no, that doesn't happen. That's what should have happened in the beginning, because she should have just said, look, I'm unhappy, I don't like this thing, and then he would say, oh, I didn't even know. Like, oh, the reason why I did that is because, this happened at work, and that's why I was, and then she's like, oh, I see. And then it wouldn't be a big problem. But since she's now shared it with this friend, and now they both are unhappy, and also the problem is frozen now. Can you get that? Why it's frozen? It's frozen because there's no way to fix it anymore, essentially. Because now this person cannot be friendly to you. So it's not only is it frozen, is the original problem frozen, but now there are new problems. Because now, let's just say, for example, you guys, they talk, and then they come home. And then you say, you're thinking, like I said, you're thinking, hey, things are going to get better. I can see my girlfriend's in a better mood. I can see that her friend's in a good mood. Everything's good. But then what happens is there's this frozen feeling between you and the two girls when they come home. And you're kind of like, why is there a frozen feeling here? Like, it's difficult to understand. And the reason is a couple reasons. One is now she's heard bad things about you, you're her friend, but she doesn't have the ability to fix it. So it's kind of like, okay, I have to believe this. It's my friend, right? So I have to go with this. So now she is kind of a little bit, if she's a good friend of hers, if they're good friends, she's a little bit scared of talking to you, because it's like, let's say she comes over and she's super friendly with you. If she's super friendly with you, then she's going to be like, wait a second, you're not supporting me. So now, and if they are usually, if you and her friend are usually friendly, it's going to seem really weird when she comes over and it's kind of standoffish. But this is exactly what happens. So this is how an immature woman creates hatred of both, not only herself and inability to fix the problems, and also creates hatred between her friends and her family and you. And this is very, very devastating, especially long term in relationships. Usually these type of triangulation is from childhood. So it's from a dysfunctional home where people didn't have the ability to communicate. So everybody always went to somebody else to communicate. Dad's doing this, instead of saying, Dad, I don't like this. that I want to study. I need quiet, or whatever it is that I want to go to the concert, whatever it is, an ability to communicate and then to deal with it with your dad, with your sister. Instead, in an unhealthy relation, a family, is that they won't do that. They will always go to somebody else, and then everybody will try to pressure everybody. So often it's not just one person in a family. It might be several people. She might go to her sisters and brothers and cousins and uncles. And now all these people are against you, right? Because they're all kind of fighting for this. And you got to keep in mind that the problem that is originally started now, it really is kind of like way bigger than before. It's way bigger. And you're going to feel bad because it is, if you haven't, understood this, if you haven't seen this and that it's dynamic and really understood what's going on, it is very isolating, because it's like, wait, now all of a sudden, like, all these people like me, I'm very well liked, things are great, but only with her friends do they, you know what I mean? Is there a bad feeling? Like, it's one thing to have bad feeling in a relationship, but it's another bad thing to have like everybody hating you, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it is for human beings. This is one, believe it or not, this is one of the most devastating things. And you have to keep track of this stuff because you are a human being. You're a guy, you're strong, you're figuring this stuff out, you're working on yourself, but still, you have weaknesses, and social cohesion, a fabric of network of friends and family that support you and care about you and listen to you and have good feelings about you. These are very important, and they will affect you. So this is what happens. Now let's go back to more triangles. Let's say, for example, so now we have the two. You're here, and the two friends now don't like you, or there is a bad feeling. This is actually now worse. So not only is this relationship bad, so this with her friend is now bad, and this is even better here. This is a very strong relationship now, because they feel like this is the only person who understands. This is the, you know what I mean? I can't screw this one up. But your relationship with her is now worse, much worse, because I think it's a lot of reasons. One is that she probably subconsciously knows she's doing this, and like, it's not fair. Like, she should have talked to you in the first place. A lot of people from dysfunctional homes or with various problems, they kind of subconsciously know they do this. They've done this before. It's like not the first time, right? And it all gets really messed up from here. So they kind of know that, but they can't fix it because they don't have the ability. A person in this situation doesn't have the capacity to be honest, to communicate, to change, to admit fault, and all the things that would have to happen. Because to fix this now would be really difficult, because originally she felt very justified, right? She was angry at something. But in order to fix it now, she would have to kind of like talk to him again and originally talk to you again, and then fix the original problem, like say, you really bother me with this and that. But I got to tell you something. I actually did something like really backstabbing, and it wasn't nice to you, and I think it really hurt you, and I could tell that you were unhappy, and I'm really sorry, and like, it wasn't fair to you, and I think it's something from my family background. I don't know, but I'm sorry, and like, I'm sorry that my friend now has a bad feeling about you, because I know this affects you. Like, they hang out at our house. Like, often married couples or people that are together don't have all that many friends. So if somebody comes to the house and doesn't have a good feeling about you, it's pretty big deal, right? It's like, they're kind of standing there cold as ice, and you're kind of like, the problem is not even that it's a problem with you two. The problem is that it can't be fixed, because she can't share honestly what she told her, right? Because this bond, there's no way. She just can't do it, right? And you can't really ask. And if you do ask, she's not going to tell you. So there's no way to fix it, right? There's no way you can kind of say, this is now getting worse and worse, because not only does she not trust you, because she sees, especially if the original girlfriend is dishonest about it, This is really bad. So, for example, she might have promised you something and then reneged on the promise and then blamed you for it. Okay, humans do this kind of thing, right? It's not just women. I mean, people make these kind of mistakes, but then it's even worse, right? Because it's like, God, you're just getting hit from all sides, right? And you're like, wait a second, this is like madness. And you start to wonder if everybody's mad, but it all started from the inability to communicate. Now, this is actually just the beginning. So let's say, so now what happens? So you have a triangle here, and it's all bad for you. Now, what do? You bring in a friend. Okay, so you bring in a friend and somebody that you can talk to. It's like, hey man, I got to, dude, I'm. Maybe you don't. The problem is a lot of times guys don't understand what's happening, so they don't realize they're being set up, like really to be kind of hated by everybody in their own house. So the guy now has a friend, and he's like, dude, I don't know what's up with my girlfriend. And he doesn't understand this whole dynamic here. He just kind of says, and he starts talking to his friend. So he starts telling his friend stuff. Now, essentially, what happens is, if a guy does this, he's kind of doing the same thing she did. Is he's creating a triangle. So now this friend is going to not be friendly to your girlfriend, and he's going to be very unfriendly to her girlfriend, right? And this is going to strengthen the bond between you. And again, that freezes the relationship. That freezes the problem. It does essentially freeze the relationship, but it freezes the problem that you're complaining about something, right? You're unhappy with something, right? But you're unhappy with something with her, but now you're telling him, but he can't fix it, and he can't ask, and she can't fix it, she can't ask. So now you have these people, and even I think there's even more. Some of this is like family relationship theory, but I think it's even worse, because I think that the original person, it's super now. I think it's just really difficult for them to change at this point, because there's so much bad feelings. But it really goes on and on. It really goes on and on, because and this is what makes it so difficult. Is okay, she's got family, right? She's got friends. If she's the type who enjoys chaos, who uses this to advantage. If she's a manipulative type, oh man, this can be really bad. And so what she would do is she will tell people over time, this sister, this work partner, and she will tell all these people different problems with you. And then as time passes, kind of everybody is against you. And there's no way to fix any of it, because the problem was not with these other people. If you take out her, okay, and then all these other people would have been friendly with you, there wouldn't have been a problem. If you look around your life, you see your friends and you're fine, right? There's no big problems. You might have some disagreements with different people and personality, but basically, you're not enemies with everybody. But with one immature person who's unable to face problems, to communicate, and like I said, especially if this person is vindictive, sadistic, has some kind of personality flaws that would make this situation worse, it can be much worse. So let me tell you what happens then. So now everybody's unhappy, right? Okay. So, but this is kind of normal. This is like not a big deal. This is like what many guys live their lives in this situation. Many guys. Okay. So you've got all these people that are unhappy with you. But now the gas really turns on. Okay. So if this person is extremely manipulative, okay, now maybe she's trying to get a divorce settlement, maybe she's cheating, maybe whatever the thing that's going on, she wants to ramp it up, okay? So what she will do is she will bring in another person. Okay, now, this is not just an average person, this person. Okay, this person, you can see the old witch there, right? So now, they're not necessarily, they could be a bad person, or they could be somebody who's had trauma or serious problems. Let's do the trauma first. Okay, So let's say that somebody lived in a, let's say that somebody that she knows lived in a legitimate domestic violence situation. So this woman was regularly beaten, intimidated by her partner, and she is traumatized. Maybe he went to prison. Let's just say it's very legitimate, right? She's really in a difficult situation. But of course, what happens when all this goes down is that she becomes she often can't process. Most people have difficulty processing trauma, especially complex trauma and persistent trauma. It's most difficult. One-time trauma is easier than persistent daily, not knowing what's going to happen. So this is some of the most difficult stuff for humans to process. So it's not uncommon for somebody to be basically not well, like not fixed. So let's just say that she is now like a haunted house. Like she's just a mess. Now it's not her fault. She was in a bad situation, right? But she might be very traumatized and she might not trust any men anymore. Like they're all bad. Like if a guy does anything that hints at anything, manly or violent or just assertive, she freaks out. And again, this would be very understandable with somebody like this because they went through something. They're having to deal with trauma. They're having to deal with grief. These deep emotions are very complex and not easy to deal with. Anybody who's been in, I know there's all kinds of guys on Ronin, man. So every continent, guys in Africa, guys in Pakistan. If you've been through war, if you've seen war, and people have been killed in front of you, Sudan or whatever, you've seen things go down, starvation and things. It's pretty tough to deal with, right? It's fucking not easy, right? So this is the type of person we got here. We got a legitimate person, went through tough things. Now, this is in a very manipulated case. She actually doesn't have this problem. Okay, your girlfriend, but she knows that this person is an easy target because she knows that this woman basically, let's say in this situation, is very afraid of men, hates men or whatever. So it's very handy. So this person, kind of wants to, she has experience and she kind of wants to help other people, right, who've been in a similar situation. So she might say to her, hey, I start telling her story and say, hey, I'm like you, this happened to me. And then this person's like, what the fuck, right? She's like, she's going to be all over that, right, naturally, because she went through it. She doesn't want her friend to go through it, and she wants to share her experience. So this would be a way that a manipulative person could use everybody, essentially, in order to get true hatred towards you. Right? So this is like, we're talking serious dark triad traits here, but this is not that uncommon. It definitely happens. Okay, now let's say that she's not her friend is not a legitimate victim. She's just a very angry, unhappy person with a bad background who hasn't dealt with it, who basically is very angry. Okay, and isn't ever going to fix it. She's just a pissed off person, right? So now this person, if she wants to create havoc or whatever, she could pick a person like this that she knows is a total mess. Basically, just hates guys. And it could be the other way around. A guy could do this. This triangulation could happen from a guy's perspective, definitely. And guys are not above doing this kind of stuff. And I'm saying this because this podcast is mainly guys, 93% guys on here, 7% girls. So keep with a grain of salt, and I do mean that sincerely, that anybody who has been through trauma, anybody who has been traumatized, fucked over, has my sympathy. So don't get me wrong. But in this case, we're talking to guys, and a lot of guys don't have people to talk to. They don't have understanding of what the fuck is going on. There's no counselor to talk with. And guys are not good at talking this kind of stuff. So it gets really difficult for guys to deal with. And guys really have a tough time with this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm focusing on guys. I think there's a much bigger need, in especially here with this fucking channel. You guys, I fucking sympathize with you, man. This shit is difficult, right? So now you got someone who's just toxic. Okay, they're just a ball of energy, like fire of anger. No matter what the fuck goes on, they're pissed off, right? So she gets a friend like this, And then she starts saying bad things about you. Well, now you got, this one now will go to these other people and really fire everybody up. And all of a sudden, the hatred is just intense, and your house is just a fucking war zone, right? But nothing is said. See, this is what is important, is everything is silent. Okay? All this communication is going on with all these people is when you're not there. You're not there. You can't defend yourself. You can't, not even defend yourself, you can't communicate. You can't fix it. You can't be a partner. You're totally sabotaged. This is absolutely evil. I mean, it is absolutely evil. And it has no chance of success. So anybody engaging in this type of behavior is not trying to fix the relationship. They are literally trying to cause as much chaos and trouble as possible and making it impossible to solve the original problem, which was very, very simple between two people. So if you find yourself, if you've ever been in this situation, I hope this video helps you to see how it all went down and to make sure that you don't get in that situation again. And I think the same for you. You want to make sure that when you're in either a friendship or work relationship, or if you are in a romantic relationship, or if you happen to be married and you don't want to get divorced because of kids or whatever, just to say, okay, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be the one that's doing the toxic triangulation, right? Because a lot of times these things just kind of come from our family and we don't really know we're doing it, right? So it's important to see kind of logically. That's why I wanted to lay it out with the candles here. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope that was helpful. And it's an absolutely beautiful day here in Thailand. So I'm going to jam my yoga, and I'm going to get out with my buddy Deepak, and we're going to go fucking mow down some food, baby. Bye-bye. All right, man. You guys take it easy, and thank you so much for your fucking comments and shares. I really can't tell you, man. Last night, I almost couldn't sleep. I saw all the comments. I was just like, sometimes I don't respond to comments right away because I'm just too happy. It's true. So I was just like, oh man, that's unbelievable. Like, someone will say something really good and like, oh my gosh. So don't think I'm not thinking about you guys if I don't respond right away to a comment. Either way, Ronin Man signing off. And if you're in this situation, you want to get out of it, or you need help or whatever, feel free to join my private program, Unblackmailable. I'll have the link below, and I'm happy to work with you. But if you just, this right here, this explanation might be enough, if this helps you to see, oh my gosh, this is a situation, I don't want to be in this, and, or I've done this, oh my gosh, she did that and I did that, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that again. So I just hope it was helpful either way, and hope you guys have a great day. All right, talk to you soon.